Sup guys, this is the Power Mushroom and I'm coming to you guys it's with a video. It's kind of like a would you rather. Is Dissidia NT worth buying? That's that's the question. Alright, now Final Fantasy. Okay, look, before I start this, I know I've been a little absent on videos, but these next few videos are going to be a lot of reviews, and I have a couple of news videos up and just some topics I'm going to talk about, so real quick about that. But anyways, let's get into it. So Final Fantasy Dissidia NT, is it worth buying? And let me tell you guys that this is one of those games that I was really looking forward to. This is a game that I was actually really excited for. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what Dissidia is, or you think it's the new franchise for Final Fantasy, no. Actually, Final Fantasy Dissidia, it came out back in the day when Final Fantasy 13 was coming around. I think that was like 2009. And it released like this. This is Final Fantasy Dissidia. It released on the PSP, which, let me tell you guys, if you guys have never been introduced to a Dissidia game, I'm going to tell you straight up that, yeah, Final Fantasy Dissidia on the PSP is probably like one of the best ways to play it. And if you're wondering what editions these are actually, I think they were sleeves you got for pre-ordering it. So really the game would just look like this. Yep, that's what they look like, and it's a really cool game. And basically, it's an all-out brawl. You could pick your favorite characters from the Final Fantasy games. More specifically, it was the hero and the main villain of that story for each Final Fantasy installment. And it's kind of like where all these Final Fantasy characters come together, basically Final Fantasy All-Stars, and they clash it out. And obviously, the main advertisement campaign for this game kind of was it was basically, hey, you remember that fight from Advent Children? You can see Cloud and Sephiroth fight again. And it seems that they're going to do it here too. Right there. You see? Of course. Their whole advertisement is based around Cloud and Sephiroth fighting. Hence again, you have Cloud. You have Cloud again in the background of the main cover for that one. So, yeah. So, in the Final Fantasy Dissidia games, you pick your favorite character from the Final Fantasy series, and you kind of level them up. And there is a story mode. The story mode is actually pretty interesting. They gave a lot of the old Final Fantasy characters, like 9 and back, a little more. They give them voice actors, and kind of experimented with like their backstories a little bit. Did some character development, and a lot of them were actually really good. And in this game, I was really hoping to see more of that, specifically how Final Fantasy Dissidia Duodecim took what the first one had and just built upon it. I was hoping that this one would build upon that. And if you guys are like me and you played the old Dissidia games and you were kind of expecting that, let me just tell you straight up, you're going to be very disappointed. Now, not to say that Final Fantasy NT is a bad game at all. It's not. It's actually a very great game. It's just not a game that we were expecting to get. Now, I was kind of thinking that maybe Final Fantasy Dissidia was kind of start its own series or something, but like this one specifically, it goes a little off, and what the original Dissidia games were. And it turns the Dissidia games, well, specifically, this was an arcade game released back in Japan. So they've had this one, so this is a port. So who knows, we might actually get a traditional Dissidia game later on. This one turns Dissidia into a 3v3 fighting team tactical game. That it's actually a really good tactical game. If you have 3 players, I could actually see this game being put in like Evo or like in a bunch of tournaments with people actually, focusing on what they're supposed to do, the objective of the game. And it's really cool. It's a really cool brawler. Now, the way the game works is that you actually have this bravery meter that kind of fills up with like points and stuff as you use these circle attacks that can, basically you beat the crap out of your opponent. You can gain attack points. And what I mean by attack points is you have this meter that kind of builds up numbers as you keep on beating the crap out of your opponent. And then finally, when you want to deal damage to their HP, you press the square button or your heavy attack. And if that attack lands, it does damage to that person and they lose HP. And it was something that was really unique for the PSP to introduce, because like you had a lot of epic battles, a lot of them. And this one, you kind of have some pretty cool battles too. The only difference is that in this one, there's no 1v1 fights. There's no deathmatch fights where you fight till the one person's HP drops, you know, where you get a bunch of HP and it's kind of like a boss battle. Like you're the boss, he's the boss, you know, you kind of fight each other. It's not like that. 3v3 action, 3 players on each team, and you kind of have to, yeah, it's kind of like you bring the HP down or whatever, but there's a time limit. And a lot of this stuff you can't really edit. You can edit it to a certain degree, it's like to your own game types, but you can't really do anything more than that. And that's really all the game stands for. This game really is just a random team playing games, something that I can see that Square Enix diving into this, you know, that gaming as a service model is kind of going to go forth with. And this, it's not a bad game. It's actually very fun. But for somebody who was expecting a Dissidia game like the PSP ones, you're not going to find that excitement or like fulfillment here. It's not there. Not to mention the story mode in this game, it's there, but you kind of have to play online to unlock what story cutscenes are in the main offline game. You can play offline with other NPCs and stuff, but you can never beat the multiplayer aspect, if you get what I mean. Now, Final Fantasy Dissidia, going more with that, you know, there's a lot of fan service here, so if you're a fan of like any Final Fantasy game here, hey, the fan service is there for you. They have fan service for every single Final Fantasy game that has ever been made. I mean every single one of them. They even have tactics in there. A little surprise for tactics fans. If you guys jump in this game, you will be surprised to see who's in there. Just saying. Just saying. Really, this game kind of stands for just a big celebration for every Final Fantasy game made. And really, rightfully so, that's probably what it should have been. But I think it should have been something more along the lines of Final Fantasy Dissidia for the PSP, like something around that combat line. Now, a little bit about the combat, straight up, is that you kind of have like these items and summons, and really, you can turn the tide of battle with these summons, and it all depends on how you and your team plays together and kind of fights the enemy team. And I like that it's very team-based. It's something that I could see, like, it's not a first-person shooter like Overwatch team-based, but it's a fighting team-based where everyone's fighting at the same time on the field at battle. And it's really cool. I think it's something that a lot of people can get really into, and just, you can have your fun, a lot of it. But for people who are expecting the Dissidia game that was kind of like hoping just a PSP port for the console, it's not here. It's very similar, but it's very different at the same time, if you get what I mean. Probably look up some gameplay videos, or if you want, go check out Spoony Bar's channel. He actually has a Let's Play of it, so you guys can probably get the idea of what the game is. Now, as you play the game and you do fights online, you do fights with NPCs or whatever, you unlock cutscenes for the story, and actually you can get introduced into some fights in the story mode and unlock some stuff through story mode. Story mode isn't actually that bad. I just wish that there was add a more straightforward story like the other Dissidia games, where you had a story mode section instead of just going to like, oh yeah, it's your story mode, I'm gonna unlock a level. And it's a cutscene. That's what it is. You're unlocking cutscenes. There are fights that happen in the cutscenes that you can take part in, but it's really far in between. You know what I mean? Not only that, you can unlock these little loot treasure chests. They're not microtransactions. You can't buy anything, but they are there. You unlock them. It's kind of like bonuses. You know, in Overwatch, when you level up, you get a bonus box. You unlock it. It's all cosmetics. That's what this is. And here you can earn money in game. The money is not outrageously earned like other games. You know, you can't, it's not a grind fest or anything. It's very similar to Final Fantasy Dissidia for the PSP, where you kind of you play a bunch of fights, you gain currency, treasure chests, stuff like that, and then you go unlock the stuff that you want. Stuff could include cosmetic items, like you could get Sephiroth's Kingdom Hearts outfit, which is really cool, or Cloud's Advent Children outfit. You also have Squall's military uniform. You have different color versions of, like, Squall's uniform, or maybe the Cloud of Darkness has a different alternative form. Terra, she has her own form. If you guys play Final Fantasy VI, you know what I'm talking about. Final Fantasy I, Warrior of Light, he has these different forms you can take, and these are really cool forms. Not to mention they have different arrangements for the Final Fantasy games, for specifically the more famous titles like One Winged Angel or To Xanarkhan, from the Final Fantasy series. It's a lot of great stuff for Final Fantasy fans, and really, when people ask me, should you buy it? If you're a Final Fantasy fan, I'm going to tell you straight up, probably yeah, you probably should pick it up if you're a Final Fantasy fan, because this really is just a big celebration for all the Final Fantasy games that have come out in the past 30 years. It's what it is. It's Final Fantasy 30th Anniversary Edition. That's what it is, and it is a lot of fun. Now, they did do a bunch of rearrangements for the music. Some of them I really like, but the default versions of the rearrangements that they did for the gameplay background music or the BGMs, some of them I could have done without. Some of them they made really techy. It's real arcadey, if you know what I mean. But there are heavy metal versions or different versions. And they pretty much include every single soundtrack ever released in the Final Fantasy series, and it's a lot. Like I said, it's really cool. There's a lot of stuff in here for Final Fantasy fans to sink their teeth into. So there's that. But if you guys are asking me, like personally, like, well, should I jump into Dissidia if I've never played Dissidia? No, don't do that. I really wouldn't. It is the online servers at launch. They were a little crappy. I played recently, but they're actually pretty good now. The servers I actually packed with players. Before you couldn't find people, now you can. You can actually join a community on the PSN network. This is a PlayStation exclusive, by the way. You can join an exclusive like community or whatever they have, and people play on there all the time. I'm not kidding. You go online, you're gonna get your butt kicked. I'm gonna tell you that straight right now. But if you want to just jump into the Dissidia series and you need somewhere to start, you're like, all right, well, I want to get the best experience I possibly can. I think that you probably have a better chance of jumping right into Dissidia Duos Decim 12. This basically was the ultimate version for Final Fantasy Dissidia. If you're wondering like how I got this case, yeah, this is I think this is from Russia. I got it imported from Russia or Europe. I don't remember where. No, it was Russia. I got this imported from Russia, and this is the Legacy Edition. Only sold there, sadly. And I think this one came with special costumes for Tifa and Squall, which was pretty cool. You got Squall's Kingdom Hearts outfit, so when he was Leon, and Tifa's uniform. But you know, it's probably the best place to start, because once you beat the main campaign of this game, it was to my surprise that it actually included the rest of the very first game. So it's actually 2 games in one. So if you beat the story for this one, you unlock the first game for free. So there you go. So definitely, if you're wondering where you should start, if you've never played a Final Fantasy Dissidia game, I think it's this one. If you've already played Final Fantasy Dissidia and you just want a nice team-based game you can play with your other Final Fantasy friends, this one definitely is the one that you should probably get. So you should probably get Dissidia NT. What's really cool about Dissidia NT is that everybody came, or everyone that bought Dissidia NT with the Steelbook, each person got their own unique Steelbook cover. So there's like 3 different versions. If you're wondering which one I got Sephiroth with Squall and the Warrior of Light. Legit, in the Final Fantasy Dissidia games for the PSP, these were my most used characters, so I'm actually very happy to have them. And you have Vaughn, X-Death, and then, you know, just in the back, so that's really cool. So yeah, this one came with a little bit of extra stuff, extra collectible cards and stuff, so definitely pick that up if you guys are interested. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this kind of helps set your minds on whether you should buy Dissidia NT or not. Like I said, go check out Spoonie Bard's video. He has gameplay up. Or just look up gameplay on Twitch. People are actually playing that right now, so go check that out. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, upvote if you're watching on Vidme. And guys, if you guys have any interesting thoughts or like comments you want to tell me, like, hey, you should do a video on this, let me know. If there's any games I should play out there, do a video, let's play, video to talk about some topic or something, let me know in the comment section, guys. But anyways, if you guys want, go ahead and follow me down there. And remember, guys, as always, when you guys are gaming, power up.